What's up guys, Aaron here, and I am just going to do a little Q&A. I put it up on my Instagram a couple of weeks back and I got heaps of questions, so I'm going to just get stuck into them now. So question one, is there any particular foods that help with weight loss that should be included in anyone's diet, or any foods to reduce a bloated tummy? I'll start on the first one, and the answer is no. There isn't any foods in general that promote weight loss or promote, losing body fat, or there isn't a magic food that you eat and all of a sudden you get shredded. And the main thing about losing weight and keeping weight off you is essentially a caloric deficit, so meaning expending more calories than you're consuming, and that is the be all and end all. It's the law of thermodynamics. It's basically calories in versus calories out, and essentially that's it. With regards to foods that help with tummy bloating, I would say more so high fibrous foods. So foods that are like, greens like broccoli, your kale, sweet potato is quite high in fiber, oats are actually quite high in fiber. Anything that has a quite high fiber content is going to be amazing for digestion. With regards to tummy bloating in general, if you feel that you're getting bloated from certain foods, what I would suggest is to do an elimination diet. So an elimination diet is basically whereby you take out one or two things, or take out one certain food that you think is causing the bloating, and if it reduces the bloating, well then maybe that food just doesn't suit you or your gut. I really struggle to grow glutes as I'm very quad dominant. I activate them before training, but I still feel like they're not really working. I don't get the pump that I do in other muscle groups. What can I do to improve this and to help build glutes? One of the things that I focus on with a lot of my clients, a lot of my female clients, is a lot of band work. So bands that place a lot of pressure on an abduction sort of range. So for instance, a lot of bands that place pressure going in, so that you have to basically focus on pushing your knees out against the band. Now the reason being is that when you push out against the band, your hips and glutes connect a little bit better. They fire a lot more, and essentially they just work that little bit harder. So what I would do is I would probably introduce some band work before you start training, or what I would do is, rather than doing sort of the big main lifts first, what I would do is maybe I would probably pre-fatigue and sort of do some glute bridges before I start into like squats or deadlifts, or my leg workout in general. So what I would do is I would probably pre-fatigue with some like isolation work for the glutes, and basically just try to focus on a mind muscle connection. The main thing with the glutes is, and it's a similar sort of feel with back exercises or stuff that you can't see. If you can't see the muscles, it's quite hard to get that mind muscle connection. For instance, like when you do a bicep curl, you curl the dumbbell up and you can look down at your bicep and you can see it contracting. Whereas, the glutes are behind you, the back is behind you, the rear delts are behind you, everything, all that kind of stuff that's behind you, it's quite hard to visualize those muscles moving, so it's quite tough to kind of get them working properly. So the main thing that I would do is focus on feel the muscles that are actually supposed to be working, and really just focus on that mind muscle connection, and hopefully that helps. How long did it take me to learn how to edit in Final Cut Pro, and how long does it take to edit a video? I'm nowhere near at the level of some of the YouTubers out there. I'm still learning a lot about Final Cut Pro. I'm still an absolute newbie at it, 100%. But it took me about probably, actually it took me a couple of weeks, but like if you look back on my videos, like they're shit, like they're not great, like, but you string it together and you get to sort of use it a little bit more, and you know how to sort of do the different commands and the different sort of shortcuts for different things that you want to do. But it doesn't take that long once you kind of immerse yourself in it, and once you kind of just get stuck in, it shouldn't take that long. And with YouTube, and the fantastic thing about YouTube is that you can search how to do anything with anything, do you know what I mean? So that's what I pretty much done. I YouTubed how to YouTube. So that was pretty much how I learned. Are there any supplements necessary for weight loss and or overall health? And the answer to that is absolutely not. No, there is no supplements that are built for weight loss and built for overall health. You should essentially get the majority of your nutrients, like micro and macronutrients, from food. So for instance, like with micronutrients, your vitamins and minerals, you should have a broad enough and a wide enough diet, and I suppose a more varied diet, that you kind of don't need these supplements. And for instance, like supplements come in where you may not be able to get a certain nutrient or a certain volume of nutrient into your diet. We don't get a lot of sunshine here, so I would supplement with vitamin D because that's obviously something that the sunlight gives you. And for instance, I don't have enough like fish in my diet, so I would supplement with omega-3 fatty acids and omega-3 oils. I don't get enough, I know for full fact that I don't get enough micronutrients like vitamins and minerals from my foods, because I kind of eat the same thing all the time, so I'm quite sort of regimented in what I eat, so I kind of eat the same stuff all the time, so I know that I don't get a full balance of micronutrients in my diet. So what I do is I take a multivitamin. My supplements that I would recommend is definitely multivitamin, number one, number two would be fish oils, and number three would be vitamin D, hands down, top three. With regards to supplements for weight loss, again, there is no such thing that is going to give you direct weight loss. They're essentially just expensive placebos. Like when you buy these over-the-counter fat burners and you buy all these over-the-counter like stimulants and stuff like that, that's exactly what they are. It's just essentially an expensive placebo. And if you think you're taking something to aid in fat burning, you'll probably be a little bit more careful about your diet. You'll be a little bit more sort of regimented in eating healthy, and you'll kind of be like a little bit more sort of on point with your nutrition. And that's what's actually working rather than the supplement. It's not the supplement doing that, it's actually you, and it's your diet and it's your nutrition plan rather than the actual supplement. So there is no particular supplement for weight loss in general that directly targets weight loss. I'm sorry to tell you. What do I think of artificial sweeteners? This is something that I get a lot on my Snapchat, and like, artificial sweeteners, are they good, are they bad, what do I think of them? And to be honest, they are grand, they're fine. Like, it's not going to do you any harm. And the thing I always reply with is the poison is in the dosage. Meaning, like, if you're having one Coke Zero or one Monster a day, or one bottle of water, or one or two bottles of water that have artificial sweeteners or like synthetic sweeteners in them, that is going to get you past a little sticking point in your diet. Or for instance, like if you feel like you're going to reach for something sugary, that's going to put you way off track in your diet, put you way over calories, and is going to really sort of like get you down because you made a bad choice. Well, then obviously the sugar-free option is the better choice, and it is the better option. So 100% I believe they are 100% fine for you within reason. And again, I don't mean guzzling down 10, 20 cans a day. Like, I just mean like, one or two cans a day, or one or two Coke Zeros, or whatever is going to essentially get you through that little sticking point and help you be more adherent to your nutritional plan. 100% go for it. They are perfectly fine. This is a really good question that I get quite a lot, and it is carbs before or after training. Now, personally, I would tend to have a lot of my carbs post-workout, and that's not by sort of like me doing it like as a direct choice. It's just because of how I feel my body works. So what I would recommend to people with carbs and around training times, what I would say to do is to test these things out. So regardless of me telling you, oh no, eat them before, eat them after, you're still going to have to go and try it. So what I would do is I would test it out. So try your carbs before training, and if you feel lethargic, if you feel tired, if you feel sluggish, if you feel real heavy and bloated, like you just want to go and lie down, well then maybe carbs aren't for you at that particular time. And if you feel like they give you an absolute ball of energy, you feel like you want to smash the gym, well then the carbs are for you, and you obviously react a little bit better than the other person would. You can kind of eat them anytime, really. There is no correct time to eat carbs. It's just once you're not over consuming them, and that is it, really. Like, there is no one specific time to eat them, and there is no one specific this is the best time to eat carbs. Yeah, you would need to replenish carbohydrates post-workout, but again, like, it's not going to be a massive deal once you get them in at some point throughout the day, and it's not going to make a great deal. So what I would say to do is just test it out, try them before and try them after, and see which one sort of suits you best. Cardio only or strength training for fat loss? And my answer to this is a bit of both, to be honest. Like, you obviously need to do strength training and do training in the gym, hypertrophy training, to build some lean muscle, build some strength in the body, and essentially spark your metabolism, get your body working properly, get your body moving, burn some calories. And essentially that is the key to fat loss, is burning calories, expending more than you're consuming, which I said just previously. It's expending more calories than you're consuming. So there is no sort of like, you know, you got to do that or you got to do that to get fat loss. It just isn't it. So what I would say is a healthy mix of both, maybe, you know, strength or weight training maybe 3-4 times a week, and then your cardio. There is, again, no particular amount that is required for anybody or for fat loss. It's just what suits you. And if you feel that you can do, you know, 10-20 minutes before your training, well then do it. If you feel like, you know, doing 10-20 minutes after your training, do it. And if you feel like going out for a walk, if you feel like walking the dog, if you feel like going for a swim, going for a cycle, if you enjoy that type of stuff, well then do that too. It doesn't have to be revolved around the gym. Your cardio doesn't have to be revolved around the gym. You can do it anywhere. You can do it, like, you can do whatever type you enjoy. So what I would say to do is a healthy mix of both cardio and weight training to get the best and the most optimal fat loss results. Again, obviously paired with a decent nutrition plan. My views on pre-workouts. Now, I don't tend to use pre-workouts a lot. I would just use them, again, for mainly when I do cardio in the morning. So I wouldn't say a pre-workout, but I would say something with a high level of caffeine in it. I would probably use like a little dragon drink, or I would use a NOCO branched chain amino acid drink, or I would use the amino boost from My Protein. And they're probably the 3 things that I would use around my workouts, and that would just essentially just to give me a little bit of a boost, because I'd be quite sensitive to caffeine. So I would use sort of like those kind of high caffeine supplements rather than sort of a pre-workout as such. But I've used pre-workouts in the past. What do I think of them? They're good, but people can become quite dependent on them. For instance, if they run out and they freak out, I can't have my workout without my pre-workout. You know, I would say only use them on workouts where you feel like you literally couldn't be arsed going to the gym, or you're like, oh my god, I'm so knackered, I feel like I just couldn't put myself through this workout. The pre-workout is essentially that. It just gives you that boot in the arse in the right direction, and essentially that sort of kick to get you into the gym, and that little bit of a boost to push you that little bit harder in the gym. So 100% they're perfectly fine, but what I would say to do is don't get hung up on them and don't get dependent on them. Somebody asked to tell me about the cardio that I'm doing. Now, the cardio that I'm doing is what's called low intensity steady state, or LIST training, and I do it pretty much every morning. And to be honest, I do it because it clears my head, I do it because I enjoy it, I do it because it gives me a good sweat, so I feel good. So it's not one of those things where I'm like doing it for a certain purpose, or I'm doing it you know, to be a certain way or do a certain thing or compete or anything like that. It's just because I enjoy it, it makes me feel good, and I get to listen to podcasts, and I get to listen to my audiobooks, and I get to sort of like do a little bit of learning, whereas I find it quite hard to actually sit down and, you know, read a book, or, you know, sit down and go through papers and go through review papers and go through studies and all that type of stuff. So I find that being on the cross trainer is a little bit of a time to kind of get away, get stuff in, a little bit of education, a little bit of reading, or a little bit of audiobooks in, and you just tune out from the world. So essentially I do that every morning, maybe 40 to 60 minutes, depending on if I get bored, I'll jump off at 40. If I'm feeling good and I'm feeling like I'm up for it, I just go towards the 60 minute, and that's pretty much it. What are my thoughts on intuitive eating? Now, I'm probably the worst person to ask about this because I have the biggest appetite ever. So when I'm eating in general, I always eat for volume. So for instance, like I eat stuff that are quite low in calories but have huge volumes to them. So for instance, like broccoli, carrot and parsnip mash, stuff that's going to give you huge volumes and make you feel real full. So intuitive eating for me, I don't really do it because I tend to go way overboard. If you feel you can do intuitive eating, 100% go for it. If you feel like you can listen to your body and obviously listen to, you know, when you're hungry or when you're not, and obviously, you know, finish when you're full, and you can, you know, back away from the plate when you're actually full, and, you know, not keep going and not overeat, well then 100% go for it. Intuitive eating is brilliant if you can do it right. How many steps should I be taking per day? Now, I would always advise to aim for anywhere between 8,000 and 10,000 steps a day. Again, that's just me, and that's something that I would advise kind of pretty much everybody, not just people who are interested in getting you know, body fat results or, you know, getting into shape. I would advise that across the board to anybody. Anywhere between 8 and 10,000 steps is bang on.